Well, there's a huge need for foster care families here in Louisiana and a much bigger need for therapeutic foster families. This morning, we're hoping to reach those who may want to answer the call to care for children in need of a nurturing family. So joining us this morning with more details on an upcoming educational session about that is Director Jamie Jenkins with the Therapeutic Foster Care. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
So let's get into this. We do know that there's a huge need for foster care families here, but we're talking about therapeutic foster families this morning. What is that for anyone who doesn't know what that is?
Well, therapeutic foster care is a service that's provided by specially trained foster parents who are who possess the skill set and are equipped, but also very dedicated into meeting the very challenging and specialized needs of the children that we serve. So it's just a specialized form of foster care.
And when we are talking about these children who probably need a little extra love, what kind of kids are we talking about here?
Well, our kiddos have a history of complex trauma, from abuse and neglect. We have children who are medically complex, who have emotional impairments, behavioral disorders, children who are part of the LGBTQ plus community, and unfortunately children who have been victims of human trafficking. And so obviously these children have very complex needs, and sometimes those needs are met in a lower level of care, and that's where therapeutic foster care comes in. We meet those needs.
And when we're talking about fostering, I guess it takes a special kind of person to take on that challenge and to love this child and give them the environment that they're going to need to help them grow. How is it that you guys are helping people, figure out if this is something that they want to do? It is a big deal to take on.
It is. It is definitely a big deal. However, it's very rewarding work. We are hosting a webinar to provide the educational piece and to let people know who we are and what we do. We provide supportive services to our families. We don't just train our foster parents and then leave them high and dry. We provide very intensive case management services. So each foster family is assigned a case manager who is skilled and equipped to advocate, to link to resources, to serve as a liaison between the foster families, the children, and the Department of Children and Family Services, to just make sure that the very complex needs of these children and the families are being met. So, yeah.
And if you are someone who steps up to the plate to take on this responsibility, what exactly does that mean for a child who needs this kind of care?
Man, it means that this child is in a loving and nurturing home where, they're safe. And they have a family that's just willing to dedicate whatever it takes, their time, their love, their effort to meet their needs. Unfortunately, we have a lot of kids that may be medically complex and remain in hospitals for prolonged periods of time because we just don't have the capacity. We don't have homes for them. We may have children who are in higher levels of care, like psychiatric residential facilities or other types of congregate care facilities, and are they ready to step down? And we just don't have the homes for them. They are ready to step down to a more family-like setting. So we're trying to.
And for anyone who does want to do this, you guys, they have your support. They're not going into this blind, and that's why you guys are having this online educational session. For anyone who is interested in maybe taking the step, or maybe you're just curious and you want to know what the next steps are, how do you find this information? Well,
you can register for our webinar, which will be held on next Wednesday, I believe, July 26th at 6 p.m. You could go to tfc2023.eventbrite.com. You can email me directly at tfc@voa, V as in volunteers, SCLA, and that's S as in Sam, C as in cat, LA.org. To get more information.
Alrighty, and thank you so much for that very important information this morning. We're going to have all this information for you as well if you are interested, or if this piqued your interest, or you're just curious. We're going to have this for you on our website, that is brproud.com. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, still to come this morning, we have a final look at your weather forecast.